Chip Emery, obviously you with the Gerald Ford Boy Scouts and know of the importance of Jerry Ford and the Boy Scouts, President Ford and the Boy Scouts. Can you say a little bit about that?
Sure. First, thank you, Senator, for inviting us.
Absolutely.
I go back to a story that President Ford told during his confirmation hearings in Washington. Someone made the comment about him being too much of a Boy Scout. And President Ford told them, if what the country is looking for in a president is not what the Boy Scouts of America stand for, then I'm probably in the wrong country or you have the wrong man, and I don't think either is true. And he lived what he learned in Boy Scouts. President Ford joined Scouting in 1924 at Trinity United Methodist Church. There's still a troop at Trinity. They've been a troop since 1918. And they're still strong and still going strong. President Ford got his Eagle Award in 1929. He went to Mackinac Island and started and was part of one of the first Governor's Honor Guards at Mackinac Island that still goes on today, along with the Girl Scouts, I might add now. And they do a lot of public service up there and do flag lowering and flag raising every day. He was very proud of that. President Ford was also a distinguished Eagle Scout. There are less than 5,000 distinguished Eagle Scouts in the country, and that's an incredible, incredible feat. He was very strong to us. When he came back to help. If there was anything the Scouting needed, up until his last couple years, anyone that sent the president a letter asking for a thank you note on becoming an Eagle Scout, he got it. And he just loved Scouting.
He always said, Chip, one of his proudest achievements was that he was the first president, maybe the only, but certainly the first president that ever achieved Eagle Scout. That
Absolutely.
was a tremendous achievement he felt in his life.
And the first vice president also,
yeah.
and only, I think.
That's excellent.
So it's quite a. We're very proud of him.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll always be.
Absolutely, and I think it's because of what Scouting stands for that he was so incredibly proud of it, and what Scouting does to train young men to be good citizens.
Great citizens like Joe.
And speaking of Eagle Scouts, Joe, welcome to the program. It's great to have you here, and it's. I was mentioning before we started that I had asked the Boy Scouts, the color guard, to come to the State Senate about 4 or 5 years ago when I first entered the Senate. And I know you spoke there, and Scouts did a great job. But it's great to see you again. You've grown a bit since then.
Yes, first, well, thank you for being here. And if I can think back to that day, back when I was still in middle school, that you invited our honor guard to join you in the Senate. We were practiced up with our flag carrying and brought in the colors, and on the way there we worked on the speech because they told us, well, you wanted us to say something, and they chose me of all the group of us to speak, and we worked together on the speech. And what we talked about was that with the Boy Scouts, and particularly Eagle Scout rank, it is what you make of it, and you can really dedicate yourself to the principles, and when you do that, then Eagle Scout rank and all of the achievements you can earn through Boy Scouts become incredibly meaningful, and they carry you onward in your life. And if you choose not to do that, it's possible to become an Eagle Scout even and to not have the meaning behind it and not really live it out. But that we challenge everybody who was there and it was an Eagle Scout. We had everyone stand up who was an Eagle Scout, and there were a significant number, and that was wonderful to see, and challenge them to really live out those Scouting principles, because when you become an Eagle Scout, it said you are always a Boy Scout and nothing can change that. So
that's great. And you know, when I was a young guy, I wasn't involved in Scouting, and I don't think we had the opportunity presented to us. But I believe in it so strongly because I believe that young men need strong mentoring and role models in the areas of of the principles behind the Boy Scouts that now I'm have been able to join the Gerald R. Ford Boy Scouts Board Council, and also help chair, along with Wayman Britt, the Scout Reach, an effort to for scouting to extend to other young men who may not naturally kind of be exposed to scouting in our urban and rural areas. But what does scouting mean to you, and what is the fact that you're part of the Gerald R. Ford Council? What does that mean to you? And I also know that you participated in the funeral services as well.
I think if there's any one thing that has really come to me through Boy Scouts, it certainly is leadership. With our troop, there's enough room for everyone to take their turn being either a patrol leader in charge of a group of 10 or so boys, or moving up from there we have the troop scribe, and then there's the troop assistant senior patrol leader and senior patrol leader who runs the troop. And we're very fortunate in my troop, and many others follow this structure, is that the boys really are in charge. We decide what outings we would like to do, how we would like to plan our meetings, and we get to make those plans, dream them up, and then run with them. And the adults are there to support us, to help us with the planning, but really it gives us a chance to step out and experience leadership on our own, and it's been very motivating. I was the senior patrol leader of my troop for 6 months, and at our summer camp, which was a huge challenge, and to find out how rewarding that can be to be a leader and a servant at the same time, to make sure that the work you do is helping other people enjoy their experience and help them to grow into the person who can step up to that role in the future. So I would say that's the number one principle I've experienced and has been imparted on me from the Boy Scouts.
Joe, you said something very important. You said a leader and a servant. We've heard that term servant leadership at times, and sometimes we're still looking for the evidence, but I think in the Boy Scouts and in President Gerald R. Ford, it's very, very evident that he was a servant leader, and that's what leaders ought to be. That's wonderful.
Senator, may I also say, though, that this wasn't just President Ford. This was a philosophy of the Ford family. President Ford's father, and I'll call him father, was a stepfather, but I don't think he ever thought of him as a stepfather, pushed all of the boys to be involved. If I listen to Brother Dick, all the boys were Eagle Scouts. Dick,
That's
Tom,
great.
Jim were all Eagle Scouts, and along with President Ford. So this wasn't just President Ford going off and being a leader of men. It was his family leading their children to be leaders of men. Mrs. Ford was even a Cub Scout den leader.
Oh, that's great.
For a while.
That's great. Well, you talked about something that's very important to me, and that's family. I think that's where young children begin to learn the values that they're going to live by, and where some of those very sound principles are modeled in the family. But I think scouting provides something. Sometimes there's the family that's there to initiate it and back it up. Sometimes there may not be as much support by the family, but scouting can help to take up some of the slack by providing that good role model and mentorship as well. And that's why I'm so invested in it, and investing my time to try to see that others are able to join scouting through our Scout Reach outreach program as well. But that's an excellent point, Chip. Marty, as you well know, I think we got to know each other even better, and I'm
know each other very well.
I'm very pleased about that. But we were working on an effort to honor President Ford, which I'm sure that everyone in the sound of my voice can agree with.